sexual reproduction. Do you know how flowers reproduce? Some plants have flowers as their reproductive part. These flowers reproduce using male and female gametes. The process of reproduction using male and female gametes is called sexual reproduction. Before learning how flowers reproduce, let's learn the structure of flower. These are the parts of flower. Let's learn them in detail. The first part is stem. This is also called as pedicel. Next, the bulgy part present here is called thalamus, and these leaf-like structures are called sepal. This thalamus, pedicel and sepal whole make a whorl called calyx. Next part is petal. In this flower there are 3 petals. These petals are second whorl called corolla. Third part of a flower is stamen, which are under the petals and consists of anther and filament. Anther is a bag-like structure which contains pollen grains, and filament is a tube-like structure which holds anther. These stamens consist of anther and filament make a whorl called androecium. This is the male part. And next, and what is the female part? It is called pistil. Our fourth innermost layer, pistil. It consists of stigma, style and ovary. Stigma is a wide open sticky surface, and the style which connects stigma and ovary. Ovary is a bulgy part which consists of ovules. These ovules play a major role in reproduction. These are the parts of a flower. We learned about the 4 whorls in brief. Let's learn them in detail. The first whorl is calyx. It is the outermost layer. It consists of sepals. Sepals are the green outermost part of the flower. These sepals helps when the flower is in a bud condition. It protects the inner parts by enclosing them. Next, corolla. The second layer, it consists of petals. Petals are the large, fragrant and brightly colored parts of the flower. Androecium. This is the male part. It is the third layer under the petals. It consists of stamens. Stamens are the male reproductive parts of the flower. Next is gynoecium. It's the female part. It is the fourth innermost layer. Consists of carpel. Carpel is nothing but the stigma, style and ovary. Carpels are the female reproductive parts of a flower. Ovules. We learned about the 4 whorls of flower. In the female part, there is ovary. What does ovary contain? It contains ovules. What are ovules? Ovules are small rounded bodies present inside the ovary. Each ovule consists an egg which later develops into a seed after successful fertilization. See, this ovule consists an egg. Egg later develops into seed after a successful fertilization. We learn about the part whorls of a flower. But what are the functions of flower? It is a reproductive part. It consists of male and female parts. The pollen grains from the male part are transferred to the female part. This process is called pollination. Let's learn about pollination. What are the types of pollination? Self-pollination. It occurs either within the same flower or with different flower of same plant. Remember, the pollination occurs either within the same flower or with different flower of same plant is called self-pollination. Let me explain you with a diagram. Take one stamen of a flower. It has a pollen grains that are transferred from stamen to the pistil of same flower. Understood? First way. And second way is that the stamen, which contains pollen grains, are transferred from one flower to another flower of pistil of another flower in the same plant is called self-pollination. This is the second way. These are the two ways of self-pollination. Let's move to this our second type, cross-pollination. Cross-pollination is the pollination that occurs between two flowers of different plants. Cross-pollination occurs between the two flowers of different plants. Here, take one stamen of flower A. Consider this flower as A and this flower as B. The pollen grains of stamen from the flower A transfers to the flower, the pistil of flower B. This is called cross-pollination, and vice versa. This is called cross-pollination. And what are the agents of cross-pollination? First one is insects. When insects help in pollination, such a transfer is called insect pollination. When an insect like bees, butterflies, etc. want honey, they will drink the honey formed at stigma, where the honey is formed at stigma and goes to another flower to drink honey. When they went to drink the honey of another flower, they drop the pollen grains they carried, so this pollination occurs. Let me explain you this with a diagram. See, the pollen grains of the anther are transferred by an insect to the stigma of another flower. Next, our second agent is wind. When wind is the agent of cross-pollination, it is called wind pollination. Maize, palm, pine, etc. are wind-pollinated flowers. They produce dry, large quantity and lighter pollen grains. Remember, they produce dry pollen grains which are in large quantity and lighter, so they can be blown away. When these flowers are matured, the pollen grains are blown away carrying by wind. They land in different places, some even get wasted. Let me explain you with a diagram. These pollen grains are just left by a plant. I took here a dandelion. The pollen grains are just blown away, are dry, so they do not stick somewhere and lost. They produce in large quantity and they are lighter. Here you can see the pollen grains are blowing. A third agent is water pollination, where water acts as an agent of cross-pollination. This is known as water pollination. Example, Vallisneria. This is an aquatic plant whose male flowers are submerged in water. Important, the male flowers are submerged in water. When the female flowers are matured, they get detached and float on the surface of water. When the male flowers come in contact with female flowers, this pollination occurs. Let me explain you with a diagram. As you can see, this is the male flower and this is female. When you see these male flowers get matured, they will reach the surface of water, while male flowers are floating in water. When they both get in contact, this pollination occurs. Thank you. This is the chapter 2 full lesson, Reproduction in Plants, 8th ICSE Concise Selena book.